Well, hello everybody. So we're going to continue on with our little frame-by-frame animation, talking about keyframes and tweening and a variety of other things, and we're going to be continuing on with our sort of deep dive into frame rates and a variety of things. So this right here, we're going to be doing what's called a bouncing cycle. Cycle, when it comes to animation or any sort of motion graphics, is basically a repeating thing that can be applied to other things. So we're going to create the cycle in this project, and for the next project, we're going to use that same cycle. So it's important that we make sure that we save our project in a place that we can find it here. So I'm going to go ahead and call this bouncing ball cycle. All right. And we're going to create this little cycle here, and we're going to see if we can't make it repeat over and over again to last a certain amount of time. So we're probably going to have it last, maybe 4 or 5 bounces or so. Okay, so first off, let's go ahead and create our color matte like we did before. Create new color matte, and we're going to once again make it the full HD. Recall that full HD is 1920 by 1080. If we were to do just normal HD, like DVD quality, early DVD quality, it would be 1280 by 720. And if we were to do, just the normal, kind of like Midland, it would be like 480 by 270 and stuff like that. So this right here, we're going to be, we'll stick with 1920 by 1080 full HD, and we'll once again do 24 frames a second. Just okay, and choose whatever color you'd like here. I'm going to choose something a little more mellow, make it sort of a dark blue-ish here, say for instance. And I'll make a color matte there. Drag it in. And yeah, okay, so now we have a little color matte here. Okay, so with that done, now we have, if we get in real close, you can kind of see the frames here. We've got 3, 4, 6, 9, 12, 15, and as soon as we get to like 23 right there, we can see the next one is 1 second. So that's 24 frames a second. Neat. Okay, so once again, we're going to be doing this with this little map of our keyframes here. So we have this ball that you can download. We have this bouncing ball test. So let's drag in the bouncing ball test, pop it into our little downloads folder here, and we can just drag that right in here. And so you can see we have essentially this is all sketched out. I forget who did this, but again, we have this round ball shape, and it sort of it becomes egg-shaped, and then elongated, then a little more elongated, then really long, and then really long again, and then this is kind of back and forth. It's important to note that right here we have these two keyframes here. These two keyframes essentially are going to be opposite sides of the sort of cycle. So one, I want to say the upper one is going to be the descent, and then the other one right here is going to be the ascent. So making sure that we're aware that this is just one little thing here. So I'll go ahead and grab my ball. Once again, you can download this from D2L, drag this in, and pop it right here. In this case, we have this ball here. Now in this case, once again, I can go over here to my effects, and I can go over here to find my paint, paint bucket, and I can drag that in, and it'll turn red. The threshold, the tolerance, all that stuff, this is what's going to give us the ability to kind of like determine what gets blended and what doesn't and stuff. So in this case, I could probably just pull this down some, maybe make it dark, or even just change the color to something different. Say for instance, maybe more of an orange color, dark orange. All right, so that's fun. Okay, so all that stuff is there. Right? So we can turn it down, we can turn it up, we can have it be a little more opaque. So yeah, all right, neat. All right, so there's that. All right, so with that done, let's go ahead and shrink this down to fit in with our animation keyframes here. I'll just drag this up. But avoid this. This right here is your anchor point. This is important when it comes to rotation. Not so much for this one here, but for the anchor point to be changed, it affects where it's going to be positioned. So the anchor point basically determines the position. So if you're looking for something accurate, we want to make sure the anchor point stays in the center of your little ball there. Okay, so once again, we're going to go through our effect controls for our ball. We're going to scroll up here, make sure the position, the scale, uncheck uniform scale, make sure scale width is also checked as well. And so right, we've got our keyframes here, and once again, we're going to just skip forward 3 frames, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to start shaping it here. And I'll speed this along a bit, and we'll once again use the scroll bars here. And so same deal as before. We're going to pull this down. And I want to say this elongates just slightly, to sort of show the speed gathering here. And this goes even more. And if you wanted to, you could perhaps pull the opacity of this down some, just so you could see this better. I'll shrink this in, I'll elongate this out. pull this down even further. Pull this up. Oh, see, I messed up here. See, what I did was I didn't add a new keyframe here, so I need to go back and I need to make sure I'm adding my keyframes and I'm advancing forward here. So let me just try this one more time here. Back this up. Okay, so once again, advance forward here. I'll drag this up here to the right. Width and height. Once again, 1, 2, 3. Add your next keyframe. One, two, three. If you're not sure that you are keeping it straight in line, what you can do is you can go through your keyframes here, and you can just double check the Y coordinates here. So for instance, the first one, my Y position is 99.2, or rather the X position. We're looking for the X position, the center, like the vertical center here. So in this case, it's 940. 954, then it goes to 953. So let's just choose one like 954.6. I'll just choose 954.6. And the next one here, once again, 954.6. So I'm just going to make sure that each of these things is as precise as it possibly can be here. So once again, 1, 2, 3, and I'll drag this down. And I'll choose probably like the one that's a little further up for the next keyframe here. So the one that's, so I'll just drag this straight down, rather, like so, and that way it'll, okay. All right, that's good. And then I'll go down to this next one here. I want to say, we're going to, I want to say we wanted to go straight down to the very last scene here, and then it'll bounce its way back up. But yeah, here we go. We'll just go down once again. 1, 2, 3. We'll skip this one here, and we'll go to this little egg shape here. Shrink this down, make it a little fatter. Maybe pull it back up a little bit. Up some. It's an art, not a science, as you're probably aware. Right? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so as it's going to squish itself down. All right, and then 1, 2, 3. Let's see if we can't keep this as centered as possible. Then 1, 2, 3. And we'll just squish down even further, make it as wide as possible, as wide as it needs to be. And there's that. Okay, neat. And then we'll, once again, 1, 2, 3. And then we'll lift it back up. So we'll go through these. So I'll just run through these, make it a little bit shorter, a little bit narrower, a little bit taller. 1, 2, 3. Bring it up here. Shorter, narrower. 1, 2, 3. Let's drag this up. There. Make it taller. 1, 2, 3. We'll do the one that's a little bit lower here. Make it, it's rocketing upwards. One, two, three. All right, 1, 2, 3. Start to slow down a little bit here. Oops. So what I did just then was I accidentally clicked on one of these little blue dots here. If you click on one of these blue dots, you can move these around. But you don't want to move those. Those are actually the keyframes just displayed graphically, and so you don't want to move those at all. And let's real quick make a keyframe here for our position and everything like that. And let's go to the very beginning and just double check. We got 12.2, 12.2, and we'll just make it 12.2 over here as well. Scale width. So I'll drag this back up to its position. In fact, we'll just do 12.2. 12.2, and let's make sure we have the same values: 942, 99.2, 954.6, and then 99.2, 954.6, and 9.2. Okay, neat. Okay, so let's take a look at this real quick. Let's zoom back out to fit, and we'll just dismiss this guy here, and let's see here. All right, neat. Right, so there's that. Okay, so I would almost say this could go faster, but we can fix that later on. But let's do this. What we'll do is we will basically move this to the very end here, to the very last keyframe. And we'll just shrink this down. We'll just clip this down to the very end, and then let's have it repeat. In fact, what we can do here is we can actually go back one keyframe. Let's go back one keyframe here, and let's chop this off right before the final keyframe, and that way it won't have a little delay at the very end. And let's have this bounce several times here. So let's take a look and see what this looks like. You know. It's a bit of a jerk at the very top there. I'm not sure what the deal is. So let's take a look-see. Yeah, that's okay. All right, so I'm going to have this bounce, let's see, once, twice, maybe 6 times. I'm not sure I really, what in the world's going on with that last little keyframe there? I wonder what would happen if I just kept this here. All right, and just repeated it like this. I like that better. That's better. Okay. So we'll just keep all the keyframes there. All right. So once again, I'm going to have this bounce, say, I don't know, 8 times. So once, twice, and then we'll have it. I'm just going to copy it and just paste it here. So let me just Control C, Control V. So in this case, it's 9 times. I'll take one out. So, all right, and then we'll just extend. I'll go ahead and get rid of this, and I'll extend this out the whole time. Okay, so with that done, make sure that you've got that. And in fact, if you wanted to come up here, let's actually take this and just go to, say, for instance, 50%, maybe 25%. And let's click off of everything. Let's make this visible again. Let's grab your pen tool. Let's just make a quick shape down here. So I'm just going to click once. And just make a little box down at the bottom, just as flat as you can. And then with Move Tool, we'll just like that. Okay, so for now, we'll keep these here. So now we've got a little surface that it's bouncing on. It's a little slow motion. That's okay. That's okay. It's actually moving a little less than 24 frames a second. You can go in and you can like make the keyframes closer together if you wanted to, but we can speed this up later on. Okay, neat. So there's that, and let's just go ahead and export this. This is about 15 seconds long. Go ahead and put your name on it. I'll put Lobello at the top here. Change the font, something new. Make sure we're double clicking on it. Change the font to say, for instance, Milk is a good one. I like that one. All right. And we can change the color too. Fill to say white. right, great. Very neat. Okay, oh, and we also want to make sure this is all set to the right opacity as well. So let's just stop this for a second, make sure the opacity is set to 100%. Okay, so yeah, we definitely want 8 little bounces, and don't worry about the speed at this point because we're going to we'll come back to that later. All right, cool. All right. Anyways, go ahead, export it, media. Just go ahead and export it. Shouldn't take any time at all. And submit the MP4. Just go ahead and do it to medium bitrate, and submit the MP4 to D2L. Very cool. Can't wait to see you guys produce. See you in class.